Hey, this is Jamie, and I want to share 4 pieces of advice I wish I was given when I hit 20. So number 1, and possibly the biggest one, is not getting sucked into other people's vision. I think when you're 20, obviously you're growing up fast, you're going through that stage where you want to create your own vision, and often you can spend a lot of time with other people. Networking is really important, but often you can get bought into other people's visions, other people's paths, and you just need to remember that people move in different directions, different speeds, and it's okay just to make sure you're sticking on your path. You don't want to have what is known as the magpie effect, where you're constantly chasing the shiny penny, because often you end up working on one thing for 5 or 6 months, realizing somebody else over here is doing really well. You go down that track, then another one 6 months later. Fast forward 5 years, actually you might be ahead of the game in terms of where you were 5 years prior, but you've really stumped your growth just by buying into other people's movements. So pick your vision, be aware of it, and stick it through. So the second tip would be around your network. I'm a big believer that your network is your net worth. And it's not just about who you're surrounding yourself with and who you should surround yourself with. If you ever read Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, it says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. But that's also going to help you in business, in life, pushing yourself forward, but also being really careful and considered with who you don't want to spend your time with. Now, I'm a very different person to who I was 10 years ago, and there's some friends from 10 years ago that are definitely still part of my life, but there's a lot of people that I enjoyed spending time with then that haven't really grown out of the teenage ways of being. And actually, if you're trying to hold yourself to a higher level and start being somebody different, you need to start thinking differently. You need to start surrounding yourself with the right people and being quite selective about who you don't want to spend your time with. So the third tip I would give to anyone starting out in entrepreneurship at that age is to have self-awareness. And when you're sort of going through that transition of building yourself up as an entrepreneur and a leader, you often think that you need to have the answers to absolutely everything. And it's really okay just to be self-aware enough to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and then act on that. So a big part of what's made me a relative success in the last 8 years, let's say, is by building a team around me that complement my weaknesses and improvements that I need to make within myself. Now, what I used to do is try to be the person that actually I've got the answer to every single problem, I can fix anything. But actually, there are people out there that are going to be a lot better. And instead of focusing on my weaknesses, you can then focus on your strengths. So if you can have self-awareness around your abilities, not only in business, in social life, and everything that's going on, you're going to accelerate your results in the meantime. The fourth and final tip that I'd give to anyone is around deferred gratification. I think we live in this world of immediate reward for your efforts. And when you're surrounded with comparing yourself against the Joneses, what that used to mean is that you compared yourself to the next door neighbor. Their grass is cut a bit better, the roof's a bit better, the windows are cleaner. Whereas now the Joneses is pretty much everyone that you can get access to on social media. So, the girls are comparing themselves to the bikini models on Instagram. Young entrepreneurs are comparing themselves to doing lifestyle things like this, right? But what you're not realizing is the years of graft that's gone in between them. And when you mix in the power of compound effect with investments, the compound effect of socializing and networking, and the compound effect of putting in your continuous effort, then the results are expanding on an ongoing basis. So if you're going to start out at a young age, you want to take advantage of the time that you've got to implement and get these results over the long term. If you start investing your money today and letting it grow and grow, 10 years time it's going to be a really large pot. If you think about the likes of Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, when he was questioned on why his investment is so big and his wealth is so big, he fed back that actually he's not one of the best investors in the world. The one thing he's had over other people is the time over the course of his life to reinvest on a compound effect theorem coming into play. And it's the same when you're taking on anything in entrepreneurship. So yes, it's great to reward yourself. Yes, it's great to have the cool cars. Yes, it's great to have the holidays. Yes, it's great to travel and do whatever you want. But if you can defer that gratification for another year or two, and instead of spending that money on all of those liabilities, instead reinvesting into property investment, into stocks, into yourself, your education, your marketing, training your team, developing it out, that's going to pay you dividends on an ongoing basis. Okay guys, so just a reminder of what we've gone through there. The first step is the magpie effect. You know, please don't live into other people's visions. It can be really romanticized from an outside point of view, and you get attracted every 5 to 6 months getting no momentum. So buy into your vision, not somebody else's. Tip number 2 was your network is your net worth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. Be careful, be selective about who you do and who you choose not to spend those time with. Number 3 is all about self-awareness. You don't have to be the expert in all areas. It's okay to have things to improve on. It's okay to have weaknesses, and instead of focusing on changing yourself, hire people in when you can afford them to cover your weaknesses and focus on your strengths, your capabilities to expand your business. And finally, tip number 4 is deferred gratification. I'm not saying defer it for the whole of your life. You don't want to be an old man or an old woman before you start enjoying the fruits of your labor. But if you can delay your reward, your gratification for just a few years, you're really going to expand your business at a compounded rate. Thanks for watching this video. We've got a load more valuable content coming around mindset, business, wealth, and property. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the like as well.